From time to time, we receive requests here on Mark Rogers TV, usually for predictions or for season previews. And we did so last year with Washington State from I am Eric Russell. Eric and I have followed each other on Twitter for the last couple of years, talking Washington State football. He's educated me on the Cougars several times. And I delivered a preview last year, did some serious homework for me when Washington State was very much off my radar, coming off a 2-10 campaign in Mike Leach's first season in 2012. Of course, the Cougars improved to 6-6, lost a heartbreaking bowl game to Colorado State to finish at 6-7. Eric would like a season preview, and I kind of promised a season preview, but we're going to have to stay with the schedule preview because there's just too much work to do, and I would not do Washington State football fans justice in delivering a season preview breaking down personnel and units. You get much better analysis, I'm sure, from those Washington State people that follow that football team day in and day out. I will be watching the opener for sure, and if Washington State can overachieve just a little bit, I'm sure I'll be watching Washington State football throughout the year. I'll definitely watch all the highlights and read all the game recaps, but in trying to cover everyone, Washington State a little down the rung at this point. But Eric, here's your schedule preview, and I'll let you know, as I've progressively gone through these Power 5 conference schedules, the probabilities as I see them of finishing whatever. And so this is how I see it. For Washington State, they start out with that Thursday night, late night game for us people on the East Coast against Rutgers, August 28th. So it's Rutgers, it's Washington State. The first game for Rutgers is a member of the Big Ten. For Washington State, they should be a 60 to 65% chance of winning this football game against Rutgers. It's no gimme by any stretch. These teams are on the same plane, on the same level as programs at this point. Washington State's at home, and I think they have the more explosive offense to win this game over Rutgers. Of course, the Scarlet Knights traveled to Fresno State in Week 1 last year, and that was a very entertaining game, 55-52 in multiple overtimes. I see this one being fairly crazy as well, not in the 55-52 range, but in the 30s with Washington State winning, not comfortably, but significantly, that they will prove that they're the better football team on this night. Washington State defeats Rutgers, wins that game, and that sets them up for a probable 3-0 non-conference stretch as they go to Nevada on September 6th. I would like some Washington State people to let me know how that benefits the program going to Nevada, being a Pac-12 school that's on the ascension, and then Portland State. And I know how difficult it is to schedule games, so when you've got slots open and everybody else is filled up, you're looking for an opponent, and this is how it plays out at times. Maybe it's a recruiting thing. I don't know that the trip to Nevada is really beneficial for this team, except to get a probable win. Again, it wouldn't be shocking if Washington State lost somewhere in this non-conference slate again against Rutgers. I don't think that's a gimme by any stretch, but they're a touchdown better at home. And then they defeat Nevada and Portland State. Nevada, not the program that they were a few years ago. Then they dive into the Pac-12. And this is what I look at when I look at Pac-12 schedules this season. Number one, always, who do you miss playing? That's very important. Fortunately, in the Pac-12, it's only 2 teams. So the schedule's pretty tight in the Pac-12 and the championship pretty legitimate, unlike the Big Ten, the ACC, and the SEC, where you miss 5 opponents. That's ridiculous. And so you have huge schedule discrepancies and disparities. For the Pac-12, not so much with the 9 games and the 11 opponents. So no UCLA, that's a plus for Washington State. No Colorado, that would probably be a win, but no gimme there. So I think they benefit from not having UCLA, definitely. And, of course, no Colorado. I see 4 swing games here. And that's what I look for as well. And in addition, with the 9 conference games, of course, you either play 5 at home or 5 on the road. For Washington State, fortunately, this season they play 5 in Pullman. Okay, the 4 swing games that I see. At Utah, September 27th. Utah is going to be a slight favorite, you would think, in that game, a slight favorite. Washington State's got to win at least 2 of these 4, 3 to probably get to 7 wins. October 25th, Arizona at home. November 8th, at Oregon State, swing game. And November 29th, even though the Huskies are considered a better team with more talent at this point, that is always up in the air. It's the Apple Cup And it's a huge, huge rivalry in college football. And Washington State actually pulled the upset 2 years ago when they were 1-10, pulled off a game against Washington, I believe, on a missed extra point, if memory serves me well. So, 4 swing games, got to win 2, because I only see one. When I say definite, I don't mean definite 100%, but should be definite win. I only see one of those in the Pac-12 in 9 games, and that's Cal visiting Pullman on October 4th. I see a lot of probable, and when I say probable, 80-90% losses. Oregon is the first Pac-12 game on September 20th. At Stanford, October 10th. USC. Now, if there's going to be a huge upset for Washington State to pull them a little bit higher in the Pac-12 and to maybe get them to a better bowl game this year, it would be the USC game on November 1st at home. I'm not saying they're going to win that game, but if there's going to be a shocking upset, or let's not hyperbole this, but a near shocking upset, it's going to be Washington State hosting USC on November 1st. That would be my candidate. Another possibility, Arizona State's not a great football team. They're better than Washington State at this point, but going to Arizona State, the second to last game of the season, November 22nd. So again, those are probable losses, like 90% certainty. Oregon at Stanford, USC at Arizona State. Then you got the win against Cal, and you got the 4 swing games. Got to win 2, 3 would be great, against Utah, Arizona, Oregon State, and Washington. No UCLA, no Colorado. Eric, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can fill me in. Now I expect you and everybody else to chime in with more in-depth analysis on Washington State football as the Cougars try to improve on 6-7 from last season, get to a better bowl game. I'm looking at 6-6 again. But again, if they can win 3 of the 4 swing games, they've got a shot. Now, if they stumble against Rutgers, and that's definitely a possibility on opening night, then it could start to unravel just a little bit. Not that the program's going to fall apart based on one loss, but in terms of working the probabilities of the schedule, that's going to be difficult to overcome. They need to go 3-0 non-conference, and then they need to pull out 2 or 3 of those swing games to get to 6 or 7 wins, and maybe a better bowl game this year than the one they played against Colorado State, Las Vegas Bowl, right? Or was that USC and Fresno State? They played Colorado State on that first bowl game Saturday. Anyway, Washington State football fans, please chime in here on Mark Rogers TV.